This episode of Going In Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holiday season is all about giving, but many years ago when I was dealing with severe anxiety, I wasn't giving myself a chance to define how I gave to myself until I started therapy and learned the tools I needed to cope with my anxiety.
So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's completely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
In the season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, of course, we're talking AEW Dynamite on the road to AEW.
World's End.
Hold on. Yeah, that's right. The World's End.
Our winter is coming is next week.
Oh, are they still doing
Yeah, because the Swerve Mox is happening next week. Winter is coming.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
So we're going to have a match.
All about AEW Dynamite. But first, let's talk about this. It says it in the thumbnail. Is it possible that Andrade, El Idolo, is going to end up back in WWE, Larson?
I don't know, but, we suspect there might be a few former WWE stars in AEW who would entertain the idea of returning to the Fed once their AEW contracts expire. In the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer talked about one such talent. You just mentioned who it was. It's Andrade. That's what Dave had to say. These transcripts come to you from Wrestle Talk. Quote, "He's going back to CMLL. Not sure exactly what week, but probably relatively soon. On Friday night's Arena Mexico show, they did a tease of him coming back. He had talked to AAA about going back there and decided to go to CMLL. I think he just wanted to do it because it's where he started, because there's no real money, even though CMLL is drawing big crowds. There's no real money being paid by CMLL. And Andrade actually charges a lot for his appearances in Mexico, so I think it's just something he wants to do. And his deal is coming up relatively soon, unless it's extended or something because of time off for injuries or whatever. But he thinks that his deal is up pretty soon, so he wanted to go back to CMLL in case he ends up going to WWE. He's not made a decision on what he's doing next. He's not signed a new deal. But if he does go to WWE, he knows he can't go back to Arena Mexico. His AEW deal is up, he believes, relatively soon. My impression is that it's up relatively soon."
I mean, that's sort of maybe a big what if. Like, he thinks his deal's up pretty soon?
It seems like there's maybe some bit of informed speculation here, but this seems like speculation here. He's saying, Andrade's going to CMLL, going back there for a show or so. So here's another little bit of follow-up. Lucha Blog tweeted after this Meltzer story. It says, "Hi, reported Andrade was coming back to CMLL on Monday. CML has all but said they're announcing the deal on Friday. Thanks for coming." So I wonder if it's a situation where Meltzer is reading the tea leaves, saying, Andrade is going to CMLL, even though AEW, they just had Mystico. CMLL talent was it Rampage or Collision?
Yeah.
That match?
Yeah, with Rocky Romero,
Yeah. So, it's not like AEW has not worked with CMLL.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, that was sort of a big deal, too. Well, no, my bigger thing is, has he asked Tony Khan, when's my deal up? Because he thinks his deal might be up soon. I guess contractually speaking, but there might be some ambiguity as to any time, if any time has been
he missed
added.
time, but due to the suspension after getting that fight with Sammy Guevara, and he tore his pectoral muscle, missed time for that.
Is Zach going to be added to the thing? Yeah, that's going to be, again, kind of interesting to see, on a case-by-case basis, who is just sort of, if you don't want to be here, why am I going to add time to your contract? I hope they at least resolve this Miro, Andrade, CJ stuff.
They're so riveted by it, I could tell.
Look, so here's my thing, man. You start something, you just got to finish it.
I agree.
Or not, I find it compelling, or honestly, at this point, it is kind of unintentionally hilarious how little chemistry CJ and Andrade have. That's kind of funny to me. And so to get more of that, yeah, I'm kind of down with that. But yeah, starting something that you then follow through with, and finish. Which you would think if Andrade's on his way out means a win for Miro.
You would think so. Well, also because Miro says he reportedly doesn't want to lose, another idea that you get a win for Miro.
Right, exactly. So, I wonder, dude, it's funny. I wonder, I don't know, you just got to ask yourself how much of this is like, it's just, I guess the wrestlers saying doesn't work for me, brother, in a lot of cases, and Tony Khan being like, well, you're under contract with me. Like, can you please just do, it's wrestling. It's all, people know that it's not.
This is choreographed fights. We're telling stories here.
Right, exactly. But yeah, Andrade, dude, he's not going to be the last. I don't know how long Malachi is signed for, but with him referencing,
I have an idea. We know we were talking earlier. We're going to talk some business here real quick. This could be very well a tease for some programming this weekend. An idea.
Okay, yeah.
For count out for this weekend.
Yeah.
10 wrestlers. We'll put on our Nostradamus hats and try to predict 10 wrestlers who are going to change companies next year.
Oh, I like that. We did sort of like, and we did sort of like a video about
wrestlers who should go to the opposing companies.
It was like where we think they were going to go. The free agent, the free agent.
Oh yeah, we did the free agent game on Friendo Club Wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But that was more of like a newlywed game or a password.
Yeah, it was more of a game show theme. But this is like actual predictions.
Oh, I like that. No, that's good. That's a good count out. We can do that this week. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Malachi definitely will be on there depending on his contract status. I don't know when he signed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Remember Andrade's debut? Remember how awkward it was?
Andrade's, yeah, where Vicky comes out. He got no music.
As Lacey would say, Akko Taco. He just comes out there. He's like, hey, everybody. To a chorus of curiosity. Who's that down there? Is that a producer?
Oh, it's Andrade.
It's Andrade El Idolo. Cool. Right on. Yeah. So, WWE is the place to be right now. Be kind of different to go from a place that had jam-packed with 3,500 people versus a place that's jam-packed, actually, like literally jam-packed, like 12,000 or whatever.
I mean, it was a good crowd for Dynamite last night. They were into the show.
I thought Dynamite was fine. I thought Dynamite was good last night. They kind of, again, this Continental Classic, it's really helping them fill time in a way.
That's the way of looking at it, yeah.
Well, fill time in an interesting way. There was no, if I'm not mistaken, so because they're doing like the Kenny Omega, Ethan Page match on Collision.
That was already taped, yeah.
And that was taped on Tuesday, I think.
Right.
But I was
also
just
in
like,
Montreal.
There were no Young Bucks. No, there was like no Elite except for Hangman last night. And Hangman seems to be like the one guy who's doing cool shit.
Yeah.
In AEW of the Elite. He was accused by MJF of being El Diablo, the devil.
The devil.
I don't think it's Hangman, but
no, obviously not. Well, they tried to give you the idea that it was, because later on, when Samoa Joe and MJF were supposed to have their tag match against the Devil's Goons, MJF's laid out backstage after having a beer bottle broken over his head. And of course, Hangman likes to imbibe.
Yeah, he loves the beer.
And so there's people making that connection. There's people saying, "Oh, glass, that's a Jungle Boy reference. Jack Perry's a devil."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anybody mention this, though. Maybe they did on some quarters of social media. Remember when MJF and Adam Cole went fishing?
Yeah.
And shared some beers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doesn't FTR also like beer? Wasn't there a thing where they tried to give Kenny...
No, they like the spirits.
They like, what, like hard alcohol?
Yeah.
Didn't they try to give who gave like a beer?
Oh, that was the Kenny and Hangman stuff where FTR tried to give him beers. I think it was. Yeah,
there you go. Maybe FTR. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it being Hangman. So far, nobody's moved me off the idea that it's Adam Cole. And then because one friendo in our comments said one of those henchmen definitely was Roderick Strong. Now that he can walk again. Roderick Strong in the Kingdom. This is my question, though. This is my question to you. Let's say for a second, because I think it would make a lot of sense for it to be Cole, his former faction mates, the Kingdom, and his best friend, Roderick Strong. Let's say that's the group, and then Wardlow for some reason.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't like MJF. How do you transition? Like, would they maintain the comedy angle with Roderick Strong in the Kingdom if they were revealed to be the henchman?
No, I don't know how you could. That's be
They would
taken
just all
seriously.
of a sudden be serious people. I feel like, dude, I honestly feel like it's going to be a Cole reveal and it's going to be the Kingdom, and they'll still maintain. They're not going to do full on like, oh, Adam Cole's at their house and he's vacuuming stuff.
Yeah.
But like they'll maintain a bit of that comedy shtick because it is over. People really like it.
Yeah, that's true. People do really like it. I saw someone on Twitter post a little video clip of one of the masked wrestlers around the ringside area. And it's like, oh, this person is moving exactly like Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly's I've seen him with a couple interviews saying, I think the most recent one is, I should maybe definitely be a wrestler again by the time AEW comes back to Canada, I think next spring.
He posted on his Instagram exactly that. There is the schedule for AEW running like April, May, something like that.
Yeah.
And he says, I should be a wrestler by then again. There's been reports from Fightful Select that he's been backstage at a lot of these shows. Again, he sort of falls into that. He's, I think, a little bit more unique in the way he moves around than like, you know, our Sean Spears theory.
Yeah.
And even Taven and Bennett necessarily. But I could see, that would make sense. The Undisputed Era, you know, without Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
Bobby Fish ain't going to be one of them. He ain't under that mask.
No Bob Fish.
No Bob Fish.
No Bob Fish.
Definitely not Hangman Adam Page, though. But I'm kind of curious what they're going to do. He's got a match coming up with, what's his match for next week? They announced it. I forgot what it was.
Oh, I forgot what it was, too.
It wasn't Roderick Strong, was it?
Maybe it was.
Was it Roderick Strong? I forget. But yeah, I don't know. There's some cool stuff going on last night on Dynamite.
Yeah. Like all the tournament matches were solid. The Swerve Mark Briscoe one was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That match was great. Let's talk about the how the show ended. So the main event was for the TNT Championship. He had Christian defending against Edgy Adam Copeland. As promised, Christian was going after Copeland's neck.
Mm-hmm.
Edge was going after Christian's hand. In the end, though, we have a ref bump, followed by a kick to the front area from Christian to referee Bryce Remsburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Nick Wayne's mom, Shayna, comes to the ring.
Uh-oh.
And by this point, the TNT title's laying on the mat. She comes to the ring. She picks up the belt. She kind of looks over at Christian a little bit. He's really selling, don't hit me. Don't hit me. But she's predominantly just looking at Edge.
Yeah, the
sure
execution here wasn't great. There was
Edge.
even one shot of Christian saying, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be teasing that she's going to blast Christian with it, but she's just staring at Edge kind of the entire time. And then blast Edge with the title. And then they do this great bit where, and I don't know if this is designed to keep Edge out of action for a while, but that stomp to the neck onto the title, that's got to like be the thing to keep him out, you know,
for a little
vacation or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty brutal. And so he picked up the win. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe World's End is only 2 weeks away. Maybe he'll just be out for a week.
Oh, and then 3 weeks away. It's the 30th.
It's the 30th.
Yeah. Today's the 7th.
Today's the oh. You're right. Oh man, I thought it was 7 days from now. Yeah, you're right. 3 weeks away. So I don't know. Maybe he goes home for 2 weeks and then he comes back the week before World's End to be like, hey, I want you in a steel cage, and then he wins the TNT title there. Maybe. I don't know. They got a good thing with this Christian with the TNT title thing. I think they should just write Adam Copeland off, have him, you know, chill for the rest of the year, maybe into like February, March even. And then Christian Cage just continue along the path that he's on, which is highly entertaining stuff. Yeah,
wait till Revolution to go back to that feud, because they made the right call having Christian get the win, because he's doing the more interesting stuff.
Yeah.
By far.
Or just you don't need to revisit it. You know, just be like, hey, I ain't messing with that guy again. I thought I knew him pretty well, but then he just stomped my neck.
This is how it happens. Edge comes back and goes, Christian, yours is superior.
Right, yeah.
And then he's like, give me your terms. I will agree to them. We're a team now.
Oh, no, don't put him anywhere near him.
No, but now Copeland is Christian's henchman. He doesn't talk. He's just there.
Oh, okay, just a henchman. Okay, sort of like
henchman.
Luchasaurus situation for him.
Yeah. He's Luchasaurus's understudy, Padawan, if you will.
Oh, okay. So like
Kill Switch. Kill switch
Okay.
now.
Alvarez to the Meltzer. Yeah. Okay. That's
Yes.
good. I like that. Yeah, that's a possibility. All sort of edge heads in the comments like, no, why would you say that? Anyway,
I mean, look what's on the screens. Christians is doing more interesting work right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a couple. Got a super chat here from Josh. Says, which wrestler would you give a Soundgarden theme to, and which song would you pick? Well, if Edge is a Pearl Jam guy, then Christian then be a Soundgarden guy.
Good, but which Soundgarden song?
I'm trying to think if there's like a father themed.
That's what I was thinking too.
I don't know. Maybe he's a bad guy, so one of their lamer tracks from like their last album that they put out.
Wow.
But I'll be honest, that was actually kind of a decent album. The lame one was the one they did for the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
It was like Be Yourself. That's what it's called. It's called Be Yourself. It's not a very good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like an after school special.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Tyler here, new member. Thank you so much. Joe Hartman, member for 7 months, says, hey, friendos, what title will Mark Briscoe win in 2024?
Is there a title for guys who are going to have a donut in the Continental Classic?
Maybe because Joe vacated the TV title. Maybe Mark Briscoe can win the Ring of Honor TV championship.
There you go. I'd love that for him. I'm kind of sad because he's got no points right now, right? Hasn't he?
0, yeah. He's going to play spoiler to somebody, though. He'll win a match.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
God Phoenix here says Cardona needs to go to WWE as Matt Cardona. I think it'd be awesome if they could sort of keep what he does, right now, that level of personality. Then yeah, I agree with that. I think that'd be great.
Agreed.
Oh, here we go. High Plains Rifter with Super Chat says the devil is James Mitchell. Then,
yeah.
I don't know if we can say that. Missing Score with a Super Chat also says, do you think an interesting story or a string of great matches could push someone into the main event faster in a major promotion?
Oh, it's an interesting story. I think people can get over with really good matches, but I think an interesting story is a more efficient way of pushing someone up the card.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Stories are everything. They really are.
Yep.
I mean, look, honestly, like once Stone Cold once Owen Hart dumped him on his stack of dimes, if you will, it's not like, I know he had some really good matches, like Mania 17 minus the finish. Yeah. Everybody says, oh, wow, what a great match, right? But like, he wasn't the in-ring guy that he was before, and he didn't need to be. It was like, man, they just had all these really great stories where he was going around stomping a mud hole in your ass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, before we continue on with our AEW Dynamite recap, Larson, we're going to pay some bills. What do you say?
Yep.
All right. So this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. Larson, the holiday season is all about giving, and regardless if you get gifts or not from your loved ones, you get to define how you give to yourself. So whether you treat yourself to a day of rest to recharge, go easy on yourself during tough moments, or decide to start therapy, remember to give yourself some love this holiday season.
Yeah, and back in my mid-20s, I found myself in a tough spot after I started dealing with severe anxiety. It got bad enough that I was faced with a decision. Was I going to allow my anxiety to get in the way of my happiness? Or was I going to go to therapy so I could start learning the tools I needed to better cope with my anxiety? And it took me a couple tries, but I eventually found a therapist I felt comfortable talking to. And therapy got me back on the path to living a happier, more productive life.
So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. All you got to do to get started is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. Then you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
In the season of giving, give yourself what you need with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
All right. So, Dynamite kicked off with Continental Classic action. Jon Moxley versus Roosh. Good stuff here. Roosh,
physical.
One of them just physical stuff. Just looks like it hurts to watch this guy wrestle.
Yeah, his strikes look about as legit as anybody's strikes in all of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when he hits forearms, especially, and I don't know if he slaps his leg or what he does.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like there's firecrackers going off every time. And that's just on his forearms, not to mention his chops.
It's awesome. It's great.
It's incredible.
Lord Gold here in Twitch chat, really quick before we kick off, before we're talking about the Continental Classic, says, I thought if Lethal and Mark lost last night, they were eliminated. So no, they're eliminated mathematically from winning, but they still have to have the matches.
Yes.
So they could play, as you said earlier, they could play spoiler if somebody needs to get a win to get to the knockout round or to whatever. They could be the ones to keep that person from getting there.
Yes.
Exactly. But they have to do all the matches.
Yeah. If you're in the round robin tournament, regardless if you're statistically eliminated from winning your block, you still have to continue doing those matches.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. You're not out of the tournament just because you're mathematically eliminated. Neither competitor here, Mox nor Roosh, are mathematically eliminated yet. However, Mox, along with Swerve, they have the upper hand in their block. They both got 9 points. Both of them got wins last night. Mox got the win here. Let's see. The finishing segment went. So Mox sends Roosh out of the ring, hits a suicide dive. They both barely beat the 10 count. They get in the ring. They start trading a bunch of strikes. Roosh sends Mox into the corner with a discus elbow, calls for the bull's horn. Mox counters with a forearm. They trade more strikes. Roosh gets the better of that, stomps Mox in the corner, goes for bull's horns again. Mox counters with a lariat, follows with a death rider. Roosh kicks out of that. Mox locks on the rear naked choke right away, and Roosh passes out. Mox gets the win and the 3 points.
That is correct. Yeah, really good stuff. After that, we had a Jay Lethal, Jay White video package for their match in the Continental Classic. And then we had a Roderick Strong interview there on the stage, and he comes out in the wheelchair with the Kingdom behind him. Renee says, hey, what's going on? He says, Renee, it's obvious that Max is going to put his dagger into the heart of my new best friend by proxy, Samoa Joe. It's tough, but Joe is a big boy, and if life has taught me anything, actions have consequences. And tonight, Joe's going to put his hands on a hot stove, and it's going to burn. And Renee asks, what if Max isn't the guy you think he is? And Roderick says, Renee, you sound crazy. Every decision has consequences. You know that. Look at me. This is my life. I'm in this wheelchair because of the decisions that I've made. This is my life every single day, and I'll live with the consequences of my decisions until now. And then he miraculously gets out of the wheelchair, gets the mic from Renee, and says, I'll no longer suffer consequences for my decisions. I'll no longer be held back by this wheelchair. And then Taven chucks the wheelchair off the stage, and Roderick says, this wheelchair has held me back for far too long. Far too long. And then he throws the microphone down. So he is healed, Larson.
He is healed, yeah. This is pretty great.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome stuff. And, the Devil's stuff has already reached that level of kind of goofiness. Like, especially Tony this week undersold the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And so for them to be revealed as the Devil and to sort of do the Undisputed Era stuff worked great when there was that little hint of comedy there.
Yeah.
And yet they were still awesome wrestlers. And I think that this Devil stuff probably sets that up perfectly, to be honest with you.
You'd think so. You'd think so.
You get some of that Undisputed Era personality stuff rub off on Wardlow, who really kind of needs some personality stuff. That could be really good.
It could be really good. Next, Renee standing outside of MJF's locker room, and Hangman walks up. Steve, would you like to be Hangman Adam Page, or would you like to play the role of Maxwell Jacob Friedman?
I would love to be Hangman Adam Page.
Steve will be playing Hangman. I'll be playing MJF. Steve, whenever you're ready.
All right. So Renee asks how he's been. He says, I was hit in the back of the head with a cinder block and then choked unconscious. So I couldn't fly for a couple weeks because she pointed out that he hadn't been around. He says, I'm glad you caught me, though, because there's something I need to say to you, Swerve, into the world. Swerve, you broke into my home. You went into my son's room. It took Prince Nana. It took Brian Cage, but you beat me in a Texas death match on pay-per-view. I can concede. I can recognize when I've lost, and you have beaten me. But Swerve, at Full Gear, I took something from you that you'll never get back. We're bound by something bigger than either of us, and I think you should know this is not over. Swerve, I know what you want more than anything from this life, and I promise that after what you did to me, you'll never have it. So, Larson, just a pause there, because then the MJF shows up.
Yeah.
This Hangman Swerve feud, going to pick back up in 2024. The one thing we know Swerve wants, more than anything, I think, It's that AEW World Championship.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it picks back up at World's End before the end of the year.
Maybe. Could be.
So MJF walks out of his locker room and says to Paige, "Hi, Seabiscuit. I just wanted to say to you, bravo on that match of Full Gear against Strickland. I mean, it was so impressive watching two guys battle it out to see who can get more STDs. I mean, it was great."
Look, honestly, I don't have 30 minutes to stand here and have you talk to me like you normally do. So is this interview? Fine. I'll let you have at it. Enjoy. So he starts to walk off, and MJF says,
"Oh, the reason I have to go out there for 30 minutes is to wake the crowd up after they have to deal with someone like you before putting them to sleep. But anyways, Renee."
Hangman comes back in and says, is that what I do? Is there something else you want to say to me?
And MJF responds, "It's funny you ask. See, my memory's not all that great, Renee. I've been hit in the head a couple times during this awesome reign of mine. Do you think, I think the last time you and I were eye to eye, wasn't it when I verbally bent you over in front of Bret Hart at Double or Nothing? Was that it?"
Yeah, I think you were talking about a match that ended when I buckshotted you and threw you over the top rope. And was that the one?
Yeah, what I remember is the first time I won the Dynamite Diamond Ring, I don't remember who I beat. I remember it was somebody talentless, a white trash hick. Renee, do you remember who I beat for that Dynamite Diamond Ring? It's escaping me.
And Paige says, I think it was me, and I think it made me so upset that I had to console myself by becoming the world champion instead.
MJF says, "Oh, yeah, that reign was fantastic. It was about 6 months, right? Tremendous stuff. Thing is, my reign's been well over a year."
And Paige says, well, I'm sure you're real proud of that. I'm sure you'll continue to be proud of it while you're 70 years old, at home, by yourself, telling your ninth cat about your 1-year title reign.
Ah, funny stuff. You want to get honest here, Hangman? You know what I think, actually? I think out of everybody here in the locker room, there's one guy I think you're the devil, man.
And Paige says, the masked guy? You think I'm running around in a Party City mask attacking you? Max, I've known you for a long time, and as long as I've known you, you've been a manipulator. If we want to be honest, just be honest with me. It's probably just you, right? You put on a mask, run around, attack your opponents, pretend to attack yourself. I don't know what the deal is, but it's just you. Just be honest with me.
And so MJF leans in closer to Hangman and says, "You want more honesty? How about I honestly beat the living?" And then Samoa Joe steps in between them and says to Paige, "Easy. He's my responsibility now." And he turns to MJF and says, "What's wrong with you? We have other issues tonight that don't involve him." He's mad at MJF.
I do like that Hangman is sort of, I don't know if he's like getting sort of roped into it necessarily, but this kind of stuff does, and them referencing the history, it beefs up the lore, It's like, I like that. And I like when paths cross, Hangman getting involved. That's how it kind of, yeah.
Well, they've been asking for AEW to do more of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. After that, we had Mark Briscoe versus Swerve Strickland. On Twitter, Swerve had, when this match was announced or advertised for Dynamite, quote, tweeted it and just said 9 points. So he walked into this. And knowing it was a foregone conclusion like the rest of us. Really great stuff, though. Mark Briscoe, he's such a good wrestler. He's so much fun. Yeah. Of course, Swerve is special. And in the end, Swerve does get his 9 points. He's looking for a 450 splash. Mark gets his knees up, rolls up Swerve. Swerve kicks out of that. Mark hits a rolling DVD, looks for a froggy bow. Swerve gets his knees up, rolls up Mark, gets 2 on that one. They both get to the apron. Mark looks for a J Driller, but Swerve blocks, hits a DVD on the apron, puts him back in the ring. Swerve stomp gets him the win. He's at 9 points now, along with Mox.
Yeah, and he and Mox are facing off next week. Yeah. Winter Wonder Slam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah.
To see who gets the advantage in their block.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Huge match. I hope that's the main event.
Oh, it should be, man. That's a big one. And again, it's that situation. So Swerve's got to win. Swerve's going to win that, right?
So here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And maybe it was miscommunicated when they were talking about the blocks, because when I remember them talking about how the finals would be set, they go through round robin phase. And I thought they said the 2 people who have the most points in their respective blocks would then wrestle for a shot at the finals.
Okay.
I could have misunderstood, or it could have been communicated a little funky, whereas maybe it's just the top point scorer moves on to the finals. I don't know. If it's a situation where it's the 2 top scorers in their respective blocks, I could see Swerve winning this, Mox coming in second in their block. They have a rematch, determine who goes to the finals. And maybe that's when Hangman costs Swerve a chance at the finals, so then it would probably be Mox, Eddie in the finals, and Eddie would win.
Okay. I was trying to think, because that draw is still out there, and I was trying to put my math hat on.
Yeah. It could end in a draw.
And be like, okay, wait a second. Is there any way Eddie Kingston can be like a point down somehow, or two.
Eddie's in the other block from Moxley.
Right, I'm talking about. Oh yeah, because the final match isn't gonna matter on points. It's just getting out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting out of your block. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was wondering if there's any way Eddie could squeak by with 1 point, coming in to get into the finals. But
you mean with one total point?
No, by 1 point.
Oh yeah.
He'd have to wrestle to a draw in order to move on to the finals. And Eddie's thing isn't wrestling very long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there was some way that, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
I don't know either. I don't know.
So after that, we had a Mariah May interview. She was asked how her meeting with Tony Khan went. Mariah said, "The meeting went really well. Tony loves me. He's watched all my work in Stardom. He loves Japanese wrestling. I mean, he's not an idiot. He signed me. We planned my debut, and we wanted to be as good as it could possibly be to add some glamour to AEW." And then Renee says, "Who's your first opponent going to be?" She said, "That's none of your business." And Renee's like, "The fuck?" She says, "Because tonight's all about Tony Storm, her first title defense. Ben Mankiewicz," and then Renee's like, "Mankiewicz." And she says, "Yes, Ben Mankiewicz is going to be there. I'm going to be there watching, studying timeless Tony Storm." But before that match,
it's only doing the All About Eve story, but it'll be really good when it kind of comes to a head.
Oh, I know. This Tony Storm stuff is really good.
It's really good. Then we're supposed to get Samoa Joe and MJF taking on the Devil's Masked Goons. So Joe makes his entrance first. He comes to the ring. The arena lights start to flicker. They go down. Then spotlights flash in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
All the Devil's Masked men surround the ring. The crowd's chanting for MJF. Lights go down again. They come back up. Goons are gone. The Devil flashes up briefly on the Tron. We cut backstage. MJF's laid out. There's a broken beer bottle nearby. And Joe sees it, and he just starts sprinting up the ramp.
Yeah. He got played right there, man. I did appreciate that, when the lights started flickering and stuff. You hear Tony Schiavone, "Oh God, here we go again. These henchmen. Oh boy." It's not like they're not like, "Oh my God, whoa, oh, they're gonna, oh, this is gonna be really violent and really bad." Tony's just over it. He's like, ah. So Rob is in our Rob Zerber's in our YouTube chat. And he says, so he's been catching up, I guess, fast forwarding us or something to get to current on our live stream.
Yeah.
And he says, earlier he had said, "Have the guys had extra coffee today?" Now he's saying, "Have the guys been drinking today?" Do we come off as inebriated? I mean,
I've only had water and tea today.
Yeah. I've had some more coffee. I think we talked about it on the pre-show. There's a little bit of end of year
senioritis.
A little bit of senioritis, yeah. Is there a specific term for end of the year senioritis? Because senioritis is,
Yeah, when you're the last half of your senior year, gosh, just want this to be over. I'm going to phone it in, yeah.
Yeah, but is there something similar just for it's the end of the year? We just want to...
Maybe. I don't know if there's what the term is for it, but I'm sure there is.
Oh, well, that's why. Because he was on almost 2 times speed, so maybe he was just talking about that.
Maybe that'd be it. Hey, while we're taking this break here, why don't we talk to people about subscribing to the channel?
Hey, how about that?
We're up to 198,800, or we're trying to get to 198,891. Right now, we're at 198,774, so we're about 117 away. We're so close.
774. Oh, my gosh.
We're so close.
Oh, boy.
We've made some great strides over the last couple of weeks. Thanks to all of you. We appreciate every single one of you who's hit that subscribe button, that notify bell. It's fantastic. We appreciate it. We only got a little bit more to go. We're almost there. We want to get there by the end of the year. And if we do, 12-hour live stream.
Yeah. And
celebrate
who knows
such a
what we could
momentous
do in
occasion.
that 12-hour live stream. Interview Roman Reigns? Maybe.
We can watch the wrestling, the longest wrestling show ever. There's apparently a 21-hour wrestling match. We can watch half of that.
How would we know? Well, it would just be a cliffhanger then.
Unless we watch the second half.
For another 12-hour stream later on, once we hit 200,002, the next palindrome.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it'd be 199,991.
It would be. We'll skip that one. Go to 200,002.
Yeah, right.
Because then once we get this first palindrome number, the next goal is over 200,000.
200,002 is the next palindrome.
Yeah, it's the next palindrome that we're going after.
Yeah.
Also, we got 486 people watching here, 488, yet we only have 122 likes.
What? What is wrong with you people?
Calm down.
Oh my gosh.
Calm down.
That's outrageous.
Hey,
that is
calm
egregious.
down.
And I won't have any of it.
Calm down.
Yeah.
It's not Festivus yet. We're not airing grievances, Steve.
Oh, every day I air grievances.
So if you could, please. Otherwise, Steve's going to start yelling and berating everybody. We don't need that today.
Finger wagging.
Yeah, he's going to start.
How quickly can you wag your finger, Larson? Faster than me? I think I'm going faster than you still.
I did arms today, so my arms are a little tired. So if you could, please hit that like button. It's the one that looks like a thumbs up. We like to get over 200 likes by the end. See, now you hurt yourself.
I know.
If we like to get over 200 likes by the end of the show, and if we're not there close to the end, Steve's going to start yelling. If you want to avoid that, just hit the like button now, please.
Right. The tears will be coming. It'll be awkward and weird.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be yelling and crying and possibly soiling myself. Full soil. You don't want to see that. Trust me.
Out of frustration and sadness.
Yeah. Oh, man. Nothing
So
worse.
Thank you, everybody. It's much
Nothing
appreciated.
Worse. Yeah.
Moving on with the show. So next we had Mox promo.
Ooh,
so
hold
he
on,
starts
one second here.
What?
We got a super chat. So while we're on break, might as well give the super chat.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Missing score here with the $2 super chat says, is the Devil story becoming retribution? Well, kind of no, because they haven't fought. They haven't actually wrestled anything.
No, they haven't.
I thought we were going to get some henchmen running ropes last night, but just like Samoa Joe, I was tricked.
You were fooled.
I was fooled. Also, while we're still taking this break, see, we tease that we're going to get back to it, but nah. Hey, we got a Patreon, patreon.com/Stephen Larson. Bonus shows, question threads, predictions, challenges. Also, you get all that stuff if you click a join, the join button on the YouTube, become a channel member. It's a Friendo Club setup. It's available for everybody. Anybody can have the Friendo Club setup. This is not like that tribal chief setup. Well, nobody can get their hands on it except for Roman Reigns. Certainly Seth Rollins can't get his hands on it, but he can get his hands on because he was, up until 2015, the best wrestler of all time, Larson. He can get his hands on it.
Especially if he's moving at 120% speed.
Got that right. Anyways, okay, so where were we?
John Moxley promo. So he starts with his back turned to the camera. Turns around, says, I'm humble before God and my mother, but look. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm capable of. I'm 3-0. I expect to be 3-0. I expect to be 5-0. I expect to win the Continental Classic. Bitch, because I'm the ace of the world.
Swerve
steps in.
He's all ha. He says, 9 points to 9 points. I'll tell you right now, it's going to take more than some new kick pads that you got wearing out there to stop the momentum that I have. As you saw in L.A., I'm going to do whatever it takes to win at all costs. It doesn't matter who's in my way. Remember that, all right? And he blows him a kiss, and then Mox says, good, me too. And then Swerve says, see you in Texas. That's when he blows him a kiss, and Mox just sticks his tongue out and goes, That's going to be a banger match. That's going to be a really good match.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Then we get Ben Mankiewicz introducing Tony Storm, just like he's introducing a classic film on Turner Classic Movies. He was on
awesome.
set there and everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this was great. Apparently refused to do the tits out part of the catchphrase, but that's understandable. You got to keep some dignity there. This was great. This is the kind of, like, I don't know, inspired shit that if you have this across all your programming, then you'll be doing something right there. I mean,
and it's a good way to take advantage of AEW being part of the Warner family of networks, which Turner Classic Movies is one.
Mm-hmm.
You have an opportunity where Tony Storm is doing this character inspired by 50s Hollywood, and lo and behold, you have a channel which features a lot of movies from that era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a perfect match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had Tony Storm defending the AEW Women's Championship against Sky Blue. This is a fun match.
Yeah, this was rad. I really like this match.
It was really good.
There's that great bit where Luther had Tony on his shoulders, and she did like the spot to Sky Blue off the apron.
Yeah. That was great. So the finish, Tony hit a super kick. She follows with a hip attack, looking for a Storm Zero, but instead Sky counters with the roll up. Tony kicks out of the roll up into one of her own for the win. Earlier on, Sky Blue, I don't know if she's done this very often, but hit a hip attack of her own.
She did, yeah.
Those corners.
I had not noticed that before. Yeah, you're right. It does look rough.
So Tony's celebrating in the ring, and then Riho runs the ring and points at Tony's title. Tony does not like her spotlight being taken from her.
No, nor should she.
So she takes a swing at Riho. Riho ducks, drop kicks Tony to the apron. And she's charging Tony to knock her off the apron. Instead, Tony falls into Luther's arms.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries her away from the ring.
The concierge does a great job. We have a super chat here from AJ Allegiant. Says the devil is Tony Khan's alter ego, spawned in that exact moment in the all-out media scrum when his soul left his eyes. That'd be something else.
Got the Tyler Durden.
It'd be great if he took off his mask and he had like the same, I think it was like a black hoodie that he was wearing.
Yeah.
You know,
what if he takes off the mask and it's the Tony Khan that showed up in those paid ads that were on the Impact episodes?
Those were really good. That was, at that moment, I was like, oh man, this would be fun if he, if this was his character on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But then he didn't do that.
No, that's probably for the better, though. It was good in little snippets. Mm-hmm. Then we got Adam Copeland, Christian Cage video package talking about their history, going back to being friends all those years ago, 40 years ago, I think they said on commentary. Then we got Jay Lethal versus Jay White, another really good match in this Continental Classic, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. These things all the matches are just really good. Mm-hmm. So towards the finish, Lethal's looking for a lethal injection, but Jay White's able to come to enough to hit a chop block, looks for a Blade Runner. Lethal counters with a roll-up, and then Jay White rolls through with a roll-up of his own, gets a win, much like he was rolled up by Swerve in that last match.
Yep. And the crowd was really into this because both of their first name is Jay.
Yeah.
They were chanting Jay forever.
Yeah.
Guess some clever chants because they were both named Jay.
Well, clever. Or lazy, you determine. You decide. This shit wouldn't happen in WWE because they don't let them do that. Although Triple H
they don't let them chant. What the hell?
No, the name thing. That's why they didn't have several, whatever. I wonder if they're going to keep on doing that. If they're going to be weird about the names. Like,
I think it just depends if you got established brand or not.
If Adam Page and Ethan Page both show up in the company, they're going to be cool with
Ethan Page is getting a name change.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Hangman's the more established name. It's a former AEW world champ.
But what if they're cool with both? You think my thing is, would Triple H be cool with both of them?
Or it'd be a situation where Hangman signs, goes straight to main roster. Ethan Page goes to NXT.
Page should go to NXT. I think it'd be so many great names there for him to face, like Lexus King. What's the name that they're using for his fan base now?
No.
What is it? Do you remember? Because I forget. I think
I remember what it is, but I don't want to repeat it because it's awful.
Can you just say it, please?
No. It's terrible. It is terrible.
See, the irony there is that they assume that he's going to have a fan base.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Then we got our main event. Edgy Adam Copeland taking on Christian Cage. It was one of those matches that in terms of the story, was very simple. Mm-hmm. Crowd was super into it. It was told really effectively. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a testament to the talents of Christian Cage here that he carried Adam Copeland to such an interesting match.
Oh, dude, come on. You can't do that. I had nothing to do with that quip right there, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all direct your Adam Copeland.
Your ire towards me. Fine, give it to me.
Larson.
Where to start here? So Christian's looking for a kill switch. Edge escapes that, rolls up Christian, gets a 2. Christian's looking for another kill switch. Instead, Edge counters with the Edge-O-Matic, gets a 2 count there, locks on a crossface. Christian gets his foot on the bottom rope. Edge releases the hold, hits some ground and pound. Sets up for a spear, charges Christian. This part was really well done. Christian leapfrogs him right into a kill switch. It'd been cool if he could have done the bit like what Grayson Waller does when he does a kill switch. Countered the spear just like that. Anyway, Edge kicks out the kill switch. Christian set up for a spear. And when Edge evades, he runs right into referee Bryce Remsburg. So Bryce is leaning against the ropes, selling, getting kind of like run into. And Christian looks around a little bit and goes and kicks him right in the balls. From behind, just right in the balls. And so Christian goes and gets the TNT title, takes a swing at Edge. Edge ducks it. They both run the ropes a couple times and hit simultaneous spears and pretty much knock heads. That's when Shayna Wayne comes to the ring and she picks up the TNT title. And Christian's like, look at me, look at me.
Look at me.
Don't hit me with it. Don't hit with me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
Don't hit me with it.
Like
directing
you're gonna
her.
hit me.
Yeah. While she's basically just looking at Copeland. So Copeland eventually gets to his feet. She blasts him with the title. Christian hits him with another kill switch. Picks up the TNT title, holds it over Edge, puts the title on the ground, rolls Edge over on his stomach, stomps him on the belt, rolls him on his back. Bryce Remsburg comes to, counts the pinfall. Christian gets the win. It's the right call having Christian successfully defend that title. And some people were like, oh, this doesn't make sense why Shayna Wayne would would hit Edge with the belt.
Who would ever say that? Did you not see what Edge did to her child?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yep.
It makes perfect sense. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that like neither of us saw this coming like from a million miles away. Because like, I mean, that was one of the things that I saw on Twitter when it happened was, this is a terrible idea for Edge. Like, what kind of person is Edge doing that to her child?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That was Dynamite. Solid show.
That was Dynamite. Would you like to, Mr. Lee, answer some questions?
I'm okay.
Are you okay? Oh, man. I like some people in the YouTube comments were sussing out our Seinfeld references yesterday.
Oh, good.
Let me get to the thing here.
Brennan Monroe here says, would AEW ever do a women's Continental Classic, and who would be in it?
Well, let's just say who would win it. Like, they've got a beefy, they got a good women's division. Who would win the whole thing? Carrie
Sky Blue.
Yeah, that's good. She's been doing
or
good
Willow.
work lately.
Sky Blue or Willow.
Yeah. I like this one. East Side says, if you could redesign any current WWE championship, which would you choose, and what would it look, and what look would you give it?
Oh, you gotta change those tag titles. They're ugly.
In my opinion, I don't think there's ever been like a decent looking tag title in whatchamacallit, in WWE. I haven't been a fan of any of them.
The old ones are all right.
You have one of those like near you, right?
Yeah, it's right back here.
I'm not huge on those either.
It's better than what they got now.
Yeah, it's better, but eh.
A little dusty, but this one.
Yeah.
It's a decent looking title.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know. I did, I kind of like the Progress Shields.
Oh, the two half shields that come together.
Yeah, those are terrible.
Not terribly practical.
It would always crack me up how tiny the old WCW ones were, because like Hall and Ash would wear them, and it was like they look like they're for cruiserweights.
Yeah, they look like they're wearing belt buckles.
Yeah, right.
DJ Hawk here asked, do you think the Bryan Danielson eye injury bit was a bit distasteful considering Bryan's injury past and perception around him?
Wait, the injury angle that hasn't aired yet on Collision?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to see how it's presented first.
That's not the first time he's done something like that.
Man, I just remember that Brock Lesnar match from 2018. And, he was selling the crap out of that. Yeah, he's done that a couple. He had like a seizure before in the Okada match, I think it was.
Yeah.
He
has used his own injury history to tell stories in the ring.
What a manipulator he is. Seems like an awful person, that Bryan Danielson.
Well, don't get his bad side. If he sees you post that on social media, he might be suggesting a fine.
I know. You might get fined for that one. Apparently, he's taking his role in the as the head of disciplinary committee.
Very seriously. Andre Zimpel here says, with all the dumping you guys do on to Vince, is there 3 things you can say he has done positive for the wrestling world?
Yeah, a lot more than that, to be honest with you. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, we wouldn't have jobs. Like that, he created the language for weekly wrestling television and monthly pay-per-views. Like he did that. If you look at the product, if you look at WWF under his dad, it was dog shit. Once Vince took it over, he understood that entertainment was necessary to create a product that wasn't boring as shit. His dad had Backlund as champion for like 5 years. And that guy was the sleepiest, whispery promo I've ever heard in my life, because I guess his dad just liked boring shit. And so he came along. He was like, oh, goddamn, look at this Hulk Hogan guy there in AWA. And he had come around WWF here and there, but, he saw what he was doing at that point and was like, this guy's going to be our champion. This guy should be our champion. He went around all the territories, saw what was going on that they had that was going good. It is fascinating to watch the territory wrestling before, like, in the early 80s. And it's like, oh, this is what Vince stole here. This is what Vince stole here. He raw-gated the entire, like, the territories and made like
bits from Memphis.
Yeah. Both in story approach and with the actual wrestlers that, brought something to the table.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, yeah, he sort of created the entertainment.
What we know as pro wrestling today in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex Foster asked, if one of you was attacked by the other in a mystery angle but didn't know for sure, what clues could be left behind that would make it a bit more obvious?
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you were attacked, well, I guess who is the mystery person that's attacking us?
No, I think if we are attacking each other.
Oh, that's easy. I mean, if you're attacking, if like a hooded person's attacking me.
If I'm attacking you and then, well, you know instantly who that is.
Right, yeah. If you attack me in my kitchen while I'm making food and you fart, it's like,
yeah,
bro, you want a beer or something? Why are you attacking me? You know, what's your problem? Is there something we need to talk about? What if Hilton is a mystery attacker attacking us? What clues would he leave behind? Like an empty container of like the microwavable mashed potatoes?
Maybe, yeah. Box of honeycombs.
Honeycombs, yeah. Like the mass attacker will be wearing like a Urlacher jersey.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's clearly just you. Or these days he always wears like the corporate Kings wear. You know, he's got like the Kings polos.
Yeah, sometimes he's got the suit on.
Let's see here. Okay. User PG8MU, I don't know, says, if you had to design wrestling gear by combining the gear of a current and former wrestling, what two would you pick? You know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to say something positive about Edgy Adam Copeland.
All right.
Because I feel like we dump on him a lot. And I think that he's probably a really good guy. And I like a lot of his work. I always feel like I need to say that. The Edge and Christian Show, I love that podcast. A lot of his work, when they were a tag team, I love their stuff. These days, I just sort of find him boring, much like modern day Pearl Jam. His ring gear has always been really cool. I've always really appreciated his presentation.
It's always very much rooted, though, in that mid-aughts aesthetic, though. It still is.
I know, but I kind of dig that aesthetic, man. I think it looks like S tier, a top tier creator wrestler.
Yeah.
So I'd go with Edge. And then I'd go with like the entrance attire of an El Vikingo, Hijo del Vikingo, because he has like the cool mask and then like the fur whatever coat or whatever.
Yeah,
the accoutrements.
Yeah, that's good.
I'd go with those two.
You know, I like comfort. I want to be, especially about their wrestling. I don't want to be encumbered by what I'm wearing. I want to be comfortable.
Who's the most comfortable? For me, it's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is the most comfortable. So give me some basketball shorts.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
A t-shirt with the sleeves cut off. I know it's nothing fancy.
Right.
But then on top of that, give me some of the stuff that Seth Rollins wears out for his entrance gear.
Oh, okay. That's a bit.
You got this crazy outfits for entrance. Take that off. I'm dressed like I'm about to sit down on the couch.
Okay.
And binge watch Succession for the 5th time. You know?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay.
But then I'll be wearing some of my kicks, my Jordans or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I would get. That's a good one.
Wrestling.
Yeah, the Kevin Owens, the comfort thing. That's a really good one. I'm sad I didn't say that. And then maybe that, and then like just one of those coats that Dusty and Magnum TA wore. But it'd be fake fur. I'm not gonna do the real fur. But those look so comfortable.
They do. I imagine they're gotta be heavy though.
They're like blankets,
Yeah, I know. Give me a Snuggie. I'll just wear a Snuggie instead.
You know what was it? Wendy Chu, was that her name?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the onesies.
The onesies.
Yeah.
Comfort supreme.
Yeah, comfort's number one as far as I'm concerned.
Number one. Like Wendy Chu gear, but like with the Young Bucks shoes.
It's good.
Yeah. Jonathan Vieira says, should AEW do an upfront immediate change in TV presentation or take a gradual approach? I don't know if they're going. Well, they might now because I guess the head of post-production or whoever the
Kevin Sullivan, not the Taskmaster, was relieved of his duties. Mm-hmm, so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, considering as a former WB guy, as the guy seemingly running production out, I imagine we're going to have a sharp detour in terms of how the show looks.
Yeah.
Away from kind of like the WWE aesthetic.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. It's funny. There was I think it was like WrestleTix. Rob tweeted this out. Or quote tweeted it. WrestleTix, somebody from there, I guess, had given his assessment of like the low attendance figures for the shows.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a list of things that aren't being done that are very tangible that they could be doing.
Oh, it's pretty much local. I saw that too. It's local marketing. Apparently they do a horrible job marketing their shows locally.
Right. Which begs the question, does Tony Khan give a shit about the attendance? Or do you think that he's putting all of his eggs into the basket of TV deal? Because he does understand, and probably correctly so, that what matters is, I'll say this. For all the attendance issues they've had, the television shows themselves have looked pretty decent. You know, like they do a good job of photographing people in attendance. Sometimes the crowds are kind of crappy in terms of their energy levels.
Yeah.
But like the TV production doesn't look that bad. Like it looks
fine.
It
doesn't.
It's not like they can go super wide and do like all sorts of different angles like WWE where the entire place is filled. But I wonder if like he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to devote much energy to that, or many resources, because it's all going to hinge on the TV deal.
I mean, that could be from a financial perspective, but there's a perception out there about the health of your promotion if you can't draw people to your shows. And there is an issue, and I understand it's probably logistical, where you have two shows, same arena, back-to-back days.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have Collision in Montreal, they do the tape that on Tuesday, and then you have Dynamite last night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not selling enough tickets to sell an arena to a decent level for one show in one market, trying to do that for two shows and back-to-back days is impossible.
The strategy is really weird, isn't it?
It is. Their touring strategy is kind of weird, you know.
Is it? I mean, I just wonder if there is. Again, I go back to what is going to so like the perception thing from a business standpoint. If his thing is, look, I just need to get this media deal. So like the resources it would take to, like, maybe it just costs a lot less to do the touring schedule he's doing as opposed to do a touring schedule to maximize attendance.
Oh, I'm sure it is, and that's probably why they do it. Yeah, no, I'm saying I think it's a logistical thing where so much of what they do is kind of centered on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come out to the West Coast very rarely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm sure a lot of that is because, you know, their headquarters in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine I wonder if like their production trucks, so on and so forth, you know, where their home base is. Although I'm sure they just drive from show to show to show. There's no reason to drive everything out to L.A. for a Dynamite, drive back to Jacksonville, and drive back out to Bakersfield for next week's Dynamite. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the production team just drives from town to town.
Yeah.
Setting up show after show.
I wonder if it's just not a priority. Like, it's like,
it could be.
I'm not going to put a lot of money into this.
But, you know, like going back to when WWE was really struggling to sell attendance, the perception was that the company was on they weren't financially in hard times. They were making tons of money.
Yeah, right.
Back then even.
Yeah.
But the perception is that in some respect, the company wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And now the perception of WWE is a complete 180.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they're putting on consistently pretty solid shows, and people are excited about the product and going to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you just see those pictures, like personally, I don't care when I see the pictures of AEW venues being like 30% full. I mean, it doesn't change my perception of AEW's product.
I'm not going to watch it then and be like, oh, this is crap because nobody's
exactly
there. Like, that's
but
silly.
some people might see that like, oh, this is minor league stuff compared to a company that's selling 10,000 seats per show. Why should I bother paying attention to this when the major league promotion's WWE?
Yeah, okay, so like I take your point, I understand, but like from a macro sense, I don't know if that like, okay, so some people, like some very niche sort of segment of people see these pictures and use it to dunk on AEW, which they would probably do anyway.
They'll find a way to do that regardless. Yeah, totally.
Right. Like, I don't know that that's going to affect people going now. I mean, but I don't know. I guess it's like the word of mouth, the viral word of mouth. Oh, these are packed shows. These are really fun. People are going to want to go to them.
You get the buzz. You get the hype behind you. It snowballs. Yeah.
I just don't know if that's going to affect them. I just sort of wonder if Tony Khan just doesn't give a shit. Like, if it's like, okay, well, everything's expensive these days. People bitch about that all the time. It doesn't prevent WWE from selling out a lot of their shows and doing really great numbers because there is that perception accurately. Their product is pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if the idea is, let me just get this media deal and things will fix itself. I don't know.
Review King here has a point as far as if AEW continues to not sell adequate number of tickets or not have decent houses, for their show, 3,000. It speaks of a company that's stagnating a bit, and that could be reflective in the TV audience as well. Whereas if Warner Brothers assign them to a multiplier for the next TV deal, I doubt they're going to be content with 800,000 for Dynamite and 400,000 for Collision if they're paying 2-3 times what they're paying now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Okay, yeah, Dynamite they get 808. It's usually like around 850 is kind of
roughly.
If they're on a Wednesday at their normal time on their normal channel, 850 is kind of what you can expect.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a couple of years now. It's not like they're at 750 or at like 650. Collision and dude, I'm not making apologies for putting on a product that's like subpar. I'm not doing that. I'm really not. But like, it's not like their ratings have tanked or on a
no, and that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. What AEW is, you could say they're consistent. You could say they're being a bit stagnant now because there hasn't been growth in their audience in the better part of 2 or 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the definition of stagnating, I would think.
But you also do know that given the landscape of television always changes, the fact that they haven't declined is kind of saying something too, because people, like the ratings television ratings now are not what they were 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No.
So I don't know, man. I don't even know why I brought it up. It's just, you see those pictures and it's like, I wonder if he even gives a shit, because if there's some obvious things that he could be doing and he's not, isn't the reason why is because he just doesn't give a shit?
No, it seems he doesn't value it or deem it as important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's not the first time I've heard what I think it was Pat LaPadre.
We had a conversation about this before, and people were
was talking about how in the thing that Rob from WrestleTix about the lack of local marketing for the shows in Montreal. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially with Collision, where Collision doesn't even air in Canada.
Yeah, that's weird.
So how do they know? It's like you got to market these shows. You have Ethan Page, who drops a promo. I think it was on Collision last week, saying that he wants to face Kenny Omega to see who's the king of Canada. Well, if Canada, they can't watch Collision, how are people going to know that match is happening unless you promote locally? You get Kenny, you get Ethan Page out there on doing radio interviews and stuff.
Yeah, but I
understand social media.
At least they had the promo on Collision, so like they wouldn't have seen that, and they're not going to see the match on Collision. It's not like they had the promo on Dynamite.
No.
And then people are like, "Oh, I want to see this."
Exactly. So you got to get if there's a huge match that has importance for Ethan Page being from Canada, the show's in Canada. You have 2 Canadian wrestlers taking part in that show that can help promote that show. You get them doing radio interviews.
Yeah. When was the last time we saw were the Young Bucks on Collision last week?
No. They had been on since they lost to
Jericho and Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're taking some time off because they're getting a repackage.
Oh, that's right. They're taking time off to do that.
They're going to be heels now.
They're going to be bad guys now. All right. Okay. Well, that's right. Anyways, sometimes absence makes the heart grow, whatever.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, you got any more of the hashtag first questions over there?
Oh, no, I didn't notice any of them over here.
Oh, okay. Maybe people on Patreon get their questions answered all the time because you do the Patreon stuff. I do the YouTube stuff.
I do.
All right. Well, anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Tomorrow, I think we're probably going to do like a news brief of some sort.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So hopefully you guys will join us for that as well. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.
Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today.